I really appreciate you joining me today and I hope everyone's had a good day. Recently, lockdown restrictions were lifted in the UK and this means that people can go out and gather in groups inside homes and also nightclubs and bars. This has also led to several incidents of violence occurring after parties at around 3 and 5 a.m. in the morning on the weekend and has resulted in people being seriously injured or killed. In this first story from this episode, a 37-year-old man was found with fatal stab wounds on Review Road in the Northwest 2 area. A picture of the crime scene shows how big it actually is, and there was a lot of cordons in place on several roads, and several vehicles were found in the middle of the road that were just left abandoned. And it gives you an idea of the sort of scene that police have to deal with when they arrive. This happened on a main road as well, so there was a lot of traffic, and the police didn't completely shut down the road, they just blocked off parts of it to allow some traffic to be able to make their way through. There was a forensic tent in the middle of the street, and there is a car that is covered by police tape, and its windows are wound down. You can also see there is some damage to the vehicle and a dent in the rear side. The main cordon is around Heather Road, and this is where most of the incident occurred. There is a lot of police equipment left around where they seem to try to tend to a victim. There was a BMW vehicle further up the road that was also being monitored by the police that seems to have been involved in the incident. The official police statement said that a murder investigation was underway after police were called at 11:30 on Thursday the 24th of February to a large fight in the middle of Review Road and Heather Road. Officers attended and a 35-year-old male was believed to have been stabbed and he was given emergency first aid but later died at the scene despite the best efforts of paramedics. The man's family have been informed and have been supported by police. 3 men have been arrested in the early hours of Friday morning in connection with the incidents, and they all remain in police custody. Detective Chief Inspector Dave Wellams from the Crime Command said, "While we are still in the early stages of the investigation, we have made a lot of developments and we were first on the scene and there was a lot of people in the area at the time. And they believe that somebody who was present at the scene knows what actually happened and why." So this is a breaking news story and I'll definitely follow it up very shortly. And my condolences to the victim who is yet to be named. And in a very similar sort of situation, Dave Nathan went to another scene on Sunday the 27th of February at just gone 12. Local patrols in the area found a 38-year-old male with head injuries in London Road that was near to West Croydon railway station. They provided first aid and an ambulance attended and the man was taken to hospital and he remains in a life-threatening condition. His next of kin have been informed and the man is believed to have been assaulted by 7 people who left the scene and headed towards the local shopping centre. There is a lot of similarities to the previous story where the man lost his life and luckily yet nobody has died, but it's still very early and things can change. In this final story of the episode, this shows why we do go to crime scenes. Sometimes you don't know what's going to happen and what a story is going to turn into. But this story that occurred on the 8th of March last year has now found 2 people being convicted and they're both children. And the fight started from an online disagreement. A friend of this victim has messaged me today and he's asked me to pay respects. Rest in peace to Nikolay Vandev from Tottenham. And today, 2 teenagers have been convicted of his murder following the fatal stabbing of the teenager who was acting as a peacemaker during a fight in North London. Ali Tasyurdu, 18 years old from Islington, and a 16-year-old boy who isn't named, were found guilty at Wood Green Crown Court on the 25th of February for the murder of 19-year-old Nikolay. They were also convicted of grievous bodily harm to a second 19-year-old. And they previously pled guilty to possession of a knife earlier in the year in June. They'll be sentenced on the 1st of April and the detective in charge of the case said this was a needless and brutal murder that stemmed from online social media feuds about a girl. The fact that such a basic dislike or disagreement of another person can so quickly escalate shows that the violence was beyond concerning. The fight, they said, started online and it has resulted in the loss of another person's life. Nikolay was stabbed and it has ruined the other 2 teenagers' lives who would now spend a considerable time in prison. Nikolay had never been in trouble with the police and he was not armed himself and he was merely trying to intervene in a fight as a peacemaker. Nikolay's friend was 19 years old and I believe this was the intended victim. And he had an ongoing dispute with Tasyurdu relating to one of them not accepting that a relationship had ended. On the 7th of March 2021, threats were exchanged online by Tasyurdu, who was encouraged to go to Tottenham. On the 8th of March 2021, Nikolay's friend was going to college that was near Tottenham station when he was approached by the suspects and punched in the head. A fight broke out and he was also stabbed in the leg before jumping over a nearby wall trying to escape. As he was running off, he told the court that he heard his friend Nikolay had been stabbed also, and he was only acting as a peacemaker. All of the suspects fled the scene and returned to the younger suspect's home shortly after. They changed clothes and walked to Tottenham marshes to get rid of the Rambo knife that they used in the murder. Police arrived at the scene and administered first aid to Nikolay until the London Ambulance Service and air ambulance arrived. He died at the scene at 2:30 p.m. A post-mortem examination on the 10th of March 2021 found that the cause of death was a stab wound to his aorta. Detectives launched a murder investigation on the 8th of March, and Tasyurdu was 17 at the time, and he was arrested at his home address on suspicion of murder. He confessed to a family member that he killed somebody, and prior to his arrest he was planning to leave the UK for Turkey. He was taken to a police station on the 9th of March, and he was charged with murder and remanded to prison. On the same day, a search warrant was executed and a 15-year-old boy was arrested, and a family member told the police that they hadn't seen him on the day of the murder. He later handed himself into a police station and he was charged on the 10th of March. During the investigation, the police found two identical knives. One was at the scene and the other was found with Tasyurdu's DNA on the handle. The second was found by a dog walker in Tottenham marshes. The detective in charge of the case sent his condolences to the family of Nikolay and said that they remained dignified throughout the entire trial, and the CCTV of their son's murder was devastating to have to show in court. So I completely understand when this man's friend messaged me, which again just shows that he had people that cared about him, that wanted him to be mentioned and his name to be spoken about. And these young lads had no idea what they was getting themselves involved in and the extent of what they was about to do. And the size of this knife just shows how little chance he stood to have survived this. So my condolences to the family of Nikolay and also his friends as well. And please don't risk your life out here today trying to impress people. So really appreciate you joining me today. I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios. Peace.
Wheel sorted. See it, say it, sorted. 24-hour CCTV recording is in operation at this station for the purpose of security and safety management.
Están los investigadores mirando. ¿Qué es el